And good evening, everyone. I just wanted to post a quick video on a meeting I went to last night. And this meeting was it's like a Gasconade County Republican meeting. A woman by the name of Linda Rance was there, going over election security or security. And it was kind of interesting what she had to say. And I'm going to have her on the show very soon. Now, that being said, and again, I think you'll like what she has to say because she had some very knowledgeable on the testing involved and all the other things that goes along with um, the Dominion voting machines here in the state of Missouri, and some of the interesting things that she saw happen with said voting machines. So I'm gonna try to get her scheduled in the next couple of weeks to come on. Hey, Ganai, how's it going? And have her on to discuss what she found with the tests and everything else that she's learned about the electronic voting machines and her push to go back to paper ballots and hand counting paper ballots. So that's something that I think that everybody's going to like what she has to say because she is very knowledgeable. She gave about I don't know, maybe an hour presentation last night at this meeting. I got an email that invited me there, and I checked it out, and I listened, and I got a lot of good information. In fact, she gave me, or her husband gave me a whole book. once she, once he heard that, I wanted to have her on my show, or he's like, here, take this home. This is good, good like homework, and this is the most, I guess, some of the most egregious things that they have found as far as uh, electronic voting machines in Missouri. So I'm going to try to get her on, hopefully in about a week or two, and hopefully I can get her on very soon. She is quite busy going around Missouri trying to lay this out to different counties and things like this. Now, with that being said, here's something else that was funny to me, but at the same time, um, interesting. And it was so my state rep, our area's state rep, was at this meeting, and he got up and talked for a couple minutes. Now, here's what he said at the meeting. The day after the election, so November 9th, the state reps were called to Jeff City. Now they elected like the head of the caucus, the floor leader, and all these other things. And he said that there were lobbyists there at that time, and they were handing out money, and they were basically trying to get people to vote for certain members to get head of the caucus, the floor leader, all these different things. So he goes through and he lays this all out, right? And this is where it's kind of funny. And so he goes through his little spiel about 2 3 minutes, and he said, any questions? And I said, yeah, I got a question. I said, when are we going to change the rules on the House floor so that two people don't get to decide what bills hit the floor and which ones don't? I said, because we get these bills, they come in, they're on the calendar, they never come off the calendar. They just stuck there the whole time. And I said, two people get to make that decision. And he's like, well, it's very intuitive that you know the process because not a lot of people know that. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, I just don't see it happening because then it would be too chaotic and so on and so forth. Well, that raised the eyebrows of the lady who actually invited me to the meeting. And she's kind of like, wait, hold on. What are you're saying? what are you saying here? And so then he goes on to discuss that he has a pretty good working relationship with Dean Plocker. I don't know why you'd brag about having a good relationship with Plocker the Blocker. Dean Plocker, um, a lot of us know that he is the guy who held up the three most popular bills here in the state of Missouri last session. So, I don't care what the working relationship is with the guy. What I want is for Dean Plocker to be censured or something and him no longer be Speaker of the House any longer. That's what I want. And that's what a lot of us want. And we're going to have to put some pressure on the House this year to do something about Plocker the Blocker. But it was very interesting to, and so another reason I want to do this video, I mean, I guess the main reason I wanted to do this video is I want people to understand how learning the process in your state government, the state houses, the processes that the bills go through, the rules that are in place, how many people have control over what bills come off the calendar, come up for debate, get sent to committee, and all these things, and who has control of those situations. I think it's very, very, very handy knowledge to have. And again, it's quite hilarious that it threw him off. And so just be aware that your state reps, apparently a lot of people that either call them, email them, whatever, have no idea of the process that goes on with a bill in the state house. And again, it threw him for a loop for me to even use the word, just using the word calendar, informal and formal calendar. It threw him for a loop. It was comical because his eyes kind of got a little big and his eyebrows went up like, whoa, 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 whoa. What do we have here? But it was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. So that's something that I kind of want to put out there because, again, I think that there are a lot of people need to understand here in Missouri, and even if you're in another state, learn how bills come through, if it's just, two people make all the decisions or it's a more open and free process. We've got our work cut out for us here in the state of Missouri. I mean, we have our work cut out for us here in the state of Missouri. We have got to figure out a way to get Plocker the Blocker gone, lose his power, whatever. This is something that's got to be done. And until Plocker has lost his seat of power here in Missouri in the House of Representatives, everything's going to be a struggle. But again, a real quick video, guys. Again, Bruce Sassman was at the meeting. I asked him, are there seeing any rule changes on the House floor? And he's like, no, because it would be too chaotic. It would be too chaotic to do that, and because I said I understand that there were a lot of bills introduced last session, like 1,300 or 1,700. And he's like, oh my goodness, were there a lot of bills? So I understand there's a lot of bills being introduced all the time, but we can do better than what we're doing now. Absolutely can do better than what we're doing now. So, hey Gary, how are you doing this evening, sir? Well, I sound like I've been drinking. But yeah, it was an interesting meeting. So this Linda Rance, I'm going to try to have her on. In fact, I got to contact her tonight or tomorrow and see if I can't get her scheduled in the next couple weeks to come on and talk about all the stuff with the election, the voting machines, the Dominion voting machines, and what she has seen so far as when she travels around and watches the testing and all this. And the information that she's going to give you, this is this is mind-blowing stuff. Now, a lot of us have a good idea, but she has more in-depth detail of what's going on. Um, this is one of those things where somebody said, this could literally break people's confidence in elections. It could be something where people just like, well, there's no point in going and voting anymore if this is the way it is. But we have to convince those people to look at it and say, no, this is now the reason that you push to go back to hand counting ballots. Her and her husband went to Louisiana. Louisiana hand counts all their ballots statewide. All ballots are hand counted, and that's something what she's pushing for here in the state. I think that's something that we can all get behind as well. But yeah, again, I'm going to try to have her on very soon. And I'm hoping within, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks, I'll get her on. And we'll go over this whole thing. And because she said literally we have about 7 months to nail this thing down and try to get something changed to where we go back to hand counting ballots and just get rid of vote counting machines all the way around, all together throughout the whole state. Just be done with them and go strictly to hand counting. And she said we have about 7 months because after that, no one's, everybody's looking at 2024, the election's in 2024, and then it's, then you have to wait till after 2024. If we're going to try to right the ship and have a more reliable, trustworthy voting system, the next 7 months are apparently extremely important to get something like this done. And I think Bill Eigel is doing exploratory things on this matter as well. I think is what I heard last night. And so it sounds like Senator Eigel has a very keen interest in this as well, which is, that's promising because Bill, I believe that Senator Eigel is a good man. So it's something to keep an eye out, folks. Again, just wanted to do a short video on this and kind of let you all know what I saw and heard last night and the guests that I will try to get on quite soon and talk about the vote counting machines, the elections, and all this stuff here in the state of Missouri because I think in the book there were 11 counties here in Missouri. They had the number of, people that were of age to vote, registered voters, and then it showed percentage of registered voters. And one of them had 116%, another had 110%, 102%, 104%. So they're showing the percentage of voters compared to what they should have. There's an overage there. So she's like, I know we like to think Missouri's this nice and secure state. She's like, no, we have issues with our election system here in Missouri. And we've got to get voter rolls cleaned up. But now here's something, I will mention this. Here's something interesting that she mentioned last night. It is actually the two major parties here in Missouri, Democrats and Republicans. It is actually their responsibility to take care of this, to make sure that they have election judges and so on and so forth. But they've put it all on the county clerks and said, oh, you guys take care. We got money to raise and stuff. So they put it on the clerks. Well, the clerks around here can't even hardly find election judges. And they don't, like our election judge or our county clerk doesn't make a lot of money. And she doesn't have the time to sit here and, on top of everything else that they're doing, to go out and find election judges and do all these things. So it's going to take a lot of work to get this figured out. But I think we can. I think we can get it, nailed down. But it's something that we're going to have to work on and get working on hard here very soon, on top of so many other things, like getting Dean Plocker censured or something. But anyway, just a real quick video. I appreciate you, Ganai and Gary Ride. Great seeing you guys in here. And I'll be back this Friday. It'll just be me. next week, next Friday, I'm going to have Jacob Turner on. Now, Jacob Turner is a guy that I interviewed uh, before the primaries in April. He was running for U.S. House of Representatives, and he lost his primary. And he's already announced that he is going to be running for Missouri State Rep. And I think that Jacob Turner is one of those guys that we're going to like a lot. Libertarian guy. He's sound, fiscally, social issues, the whole thing. The guy is sound all the way around. So I think it's somebody we're going to get behind. So next Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, I'm going to have Jacob Turner on with me. And then I said, I'm going to try to get Linda Rance on with me very soon. And some other guests that I've got to look into. But should be some good shows coming up. But this Friday, it'll just be me again. And that's all good, I'll probably just do an hour and be done. I will go over what I learned at the meeting again on Friday, along with some other topics, and we'll go from there. So thanks, guys, for joining me. Good night, Gary Wright. Appreciate you guys. And I'll see you Friday night here at 6:30